Mary Kay, in my mind, is more B2C.
Correct.
BNI is B2B. So what is your strategy and how are you dealing with that difference in being because you're in a B2B world? How are you approaching your Mary Kay sales there?
So first off, luckily, everyone in my BNI chapter and around the world has skin. So everybody's a possible customer for me. But through the BNI world, and actually it was a podcast from Ivan Meisner talking to who I assume was another Mary Kay sales director, was helping those businesses in your chapter with things like giftology, customer satisfaction, driving Google reviews, and executive gift giving service.
What's one of the biggest things you've learned since you've been a BNI member about business networking that maybe you didn't know before and you're like, wow, this is something completely different that you've adopted and it's benefited your networking ability?
To take a giver's gain approach, honestly.
All right, I'm your host, Marc Ebinger, the owner of Krukus Virtual Staffing, a company that recruits and staffs experienced overseas administrative assistants for insurance agents who need help with policy management, claims processing, and client communication. So if you're curious about some of the most common tasks that virtual assistants are doing for businesses, head over to our website at krukus.com and grab a copy of the top 20 tasks that VAs are doing for businesses just like yours. There's a link to the website in the podcast description below. And a quick reminder to follow the Let's Talk Business podcast on all major podcast platforms and social media where you can catch video version of the show. You can get to everything easily from our website at satalkradio.com. All right, Nichole, you're over at the San Antonio chapter, which is the oldest chapter here in San Antonio for BNI. How long have you been with that one?
So it'll be 2 years in February. So I think like a year and a half.
Okay, awesome.
Just over, just under, I'm not sure.
So tell us, you're in the Mary Kay business. So
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about that and how you got into it and what you're doing there.
Cool. I started my business about 9 years ago. I had no intention of running a business or we've all had some experiences with MLMs or dual marketing where we're like cringe, but I knew I loved the product and I knew I couldn't afford it. And so I was like, I can figure out how to get a discount, right? If Amazon or Target offered that to anybody, we would do that too. And that was the end of my thought. And as life has it, things change, our needs change, our heart changes what we need. And so I found myself in a pickle financially. And I was like, maybe I should figure this business thing out, give that a whirl. And once I started paying attention to all the things that Mary Kay has to offer as far as mentorship and training and a product that is timeless and been around for 61 years, like everybody knows Mary Kay, right? We've heard of it. I started paying attention and leaning in, and it just hit every time. And so I've had several promotions, been a sales director for 6 years. We've earned 3 Mary Kay cars and 6 diamond rings and a free cruise. And so it's just been a trip. It also supported me through COVID. When so many people lost their jobs, I was able to just stay with my Mary Kay business and support myself, which was tremendous. And then now it's just a ton of fun to meet people and help women feel amazing in the skin they're in, which is important and my favorite thing.
What drove you over to BNI?
Actually, my dear friend and bestie, who will absolutely watch this, has been in BNI for years, and she actually met her husband through BNI. So that's the best referral you can ever get, meeting your spouse. And she was like, if you want to change the face of your business, if you really want to grow as a business owner, you have to go meet different business owners. Like, you have to be a part of that circle. And I was like hawing around. I just didn't know, like, the price point of entry was like high for me in my brain. And now I'm like, get out of here. Yeah. I will do that over and over again. No big deal. And so it's just been an amazing and incredible journey. And I've only been in BNI for a year and a half, which is awesome.
So Mary Kay, in my mind, is more B2C.
Correct.
BNI is B2B. So what is your strategy and how are you dealing with that difference in being because you're in a B2B world? How are you approaching your Mary Kay sales there?
So first off, luckily, everyone in my BNI chapter and around the world has skin. So everybody's a possible customer for me. But through the BNI world, and actually it was a podcast from Ivan Meisner talking to who I assume was another Mary Kay sales director, was helping those businesses in your chapter with things like giftology, customer satisfaction, driving Google reviews, and executive gift giving service is really what I focus on in this time of year as we go in towards the holidays. Is business owners need to be focused on their business, not also doing some of these other things. And so that's where I come in to support them, make them look good. And 80% of our chapter is men. Anytime there's a gifting holiday, I'm like, let me help you with your wife or your daughter or what have you. So it's been pretty great.
How did you come up with the idea to approach it that way? Because I hadn't heard that before in my limited knowledge about Mary Kay and MLMs, but you approached it differently. Where did that idea come from?
Honestly, it's the amount of time I have spent in the Mary Kay business is it doesn't have to be B2C. It's not limited. It can be whatever you want it to be. Some people do fundraisers through it for their kids' school or sporting events. Some people just take care of themselves. Some people choose to grow it to wherever people will allow it to go. And so I've always done gifting services as a major part of my business through October through December, but stretching it to serving business owners that I know was a totally crazy mind shift. And it's been so fun serving the businesses in our chapter, calling their customers, asking about their experience, helping them achieve Google reviews that are incredible, and then giving them a gift on the behalf of the business owner, letting them know how much they appreciate them and hope they choose them in the future. Also asking for a referral from said customer. Because what do we all need? Referrals. And sometimes we're not willing to ask for ourselves, but we are no shame asking for our friend.
So how do you approach getting referrals for the other people in the BNI group? Because it's a referral group, and you're obviously passing referrals on a regular basis, so much so that you're respected to the point that you're elected president of the chapter. So what are you doing there? How are you feeding your group, your BNI group?
I think most of it is listening. And Mary Kay always said, if a woman will take off her makeup in front of you, she'll tell you anything. Much if she tells you her age, she'll tell you anything you want to know. And so women and people, just human beings, like to tell me things. I need this, or the struggle is this, or I read on Facebook, I'm in search of a mechanic. Great, I know a guy. And just feed them to your people. If your heart is in the right spot and you're willing to serve, people are telling you what they need. And if you're listening to your BNI members, they're telling you who they're a great fit for. And putting them together is just that easy if you have, in my opinion, abundance mindset.
Where do you think people struggle when it comes to bringing referrals to the BNI group?
I would say they may not be having candid conversations with their clients, their customers, the people they work with. Because that's when you find out, I need a mechanic or I need a maid service at my home, is when people are talking about life, the real part of life. That's where it comes in. If we're just talking business all the time, we will not be able to hear those things that they really need outside of work.
And so what have been your results from your BNI membership as far as, not a number, but like overwhelmingly positive? Are you getting referrals on a regular basis? How has it improved your business?
It has been tremendous. So I don't know the dollar for dollar, but I do check the app to make sure that I'm giving enough. And what I saw when I looked, it was last week, I have given 3 times as much thank you closed business as I've received. And that means the world to me because I live to serve, which is awesome that we get to do that. And Giver's Gain is so powerful in our world. But as far as what have I gained, and it's hanging out with business owners that have been doing business for 1 year, 15, 40, and the information that they have, the skills that they've learned, the tools that they have used, discarded, brought back. Like, it's just a wealth of knowledge in that room. And so it's been pretty great.
But when it comes to a monetary ROI, it's definitely a good investment, in your opinion?
Yes, 10 out of 10 recommend. Absolutely. I actually do my best to bring visitors and guests to understand. It's hard to conceptualize if you haven't been to a formal BNI meeting. There's a lot of other networking events, but something that was structure and accountability, it's a certain type of personality that wants the accountability. And when you can show them the money that's passed and the 40 people that are all of a sudden on your sales team, it becomes a no-brainer.
It's definitely one of the jobs of a BNI member to make friends because you're building those relationships. Those are key. You're not there to take. You're definitely there to give. But give me an example of a BNI referral that had a big impact on your business.
I wasn't ready for this.
Kim
one.
will get the same question.
I know, I'm like, you get to study.
I get
Yeah,
more
you
time.
get to study a little bit, right?
You get to think about it.
I mean, you approach things from the avenues in which you can receive business are pretty wide because
Correct.
the whole gifting thing, right? It's like whether it's a real estate agent who wants to give back, or corporate America who wants to give back to the employees, or maybe it's an experience that you would put on for somebody.
Yeah.
I'm giving you some time to think about.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. The referral I have received or how it's gone, because I was like, I got so many.
Right.
I have really enjoyed the offices that have invited me to come and pamper their staff, just as a thank you. It costs the office people no money, and then it's up to the people attending if they choose to purchase. Right? It's just it's a thing that we do. Women seldom take care of ourselves, right? We do our best, but we always take care of others first. And so when I can sit down with someone and just help them just bring back to normal and regulate themselves and their nervous system, and just remember that they are a human being and that they deserve relaxation and goodness and kindness too, it's pretty awesome.
You taught your BNI group, hey, these are good referral opportunities for me.
Absolutely.
And then they, in turn, connect that connection for you, and then you're able to do that at a high level.
Correct.
So yeah, that's the path there that I think is pretty slick, is we teach folks how to refer to us in unique ways and fun ways as well. So, but some people don't do real well in BNI. Why do you think that might be?
In my humble opinion of a year and a half of experience in BNI, I would say if accountability isn't your favorite thing, BNI is probably not going to be a great place for you. Or if you're unwilling to learn. There's a whole bunch of wisdom in whatever room you go into. And if you're unwilling to hear it, to receive it, to maybe take some of it with you, it's going to be hard.
So what's one of the biggest things you've learned since you've been a BNI member about business networking that maybe you didn't know before, and you're like, wow, this is something completely different that you've adopted and it's benefited your networking ability?
To take a giver's gain approach, honestly. I think when you go into networking kind of willy-nilly, and you can see it, I'm sure I'm not alone in this, you've experienced people who are just throwing out business cards and who are just there to take, and the connection's not there. And San Antonio is a huge relationship city, right? If you don't have a relationship with people, if they don't know that you're a good human, you're not doing business. And so slowing down and taking it to the approach of, okay, Mark, who do you need to know? And really understanding, asking good questions. And then maybe you don't have a response right away, but hey, when I talked to my friend in Arizona 2 weeks later, I'm like, have you met Mark? She was like, no. And I'm like, done. Because that's the longevity of business. And that's what it really means, I think, to care about what somebody's talking about.
Yeah, I love having that impact. And it really is the ripple effect. You know what I mean? You drop in that rock in the pond, and it keeps going and going. One referral turns into many referrals, turns into opportunities, turns into a life-changing event for that person. I've had a couple of those, and I love being a part of that kind of a situation.
It's pretty cool. And just knowing that collectively a BNI member can call a BNI member in another state, another city that they don't know, and there's an expected level of trust and decorum on the way that business is going to be conducted, I think is a huge trust factor. And I love that and appreciate that.
Nichole, if folks want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
I am on all major social channels. Please don't follow my YouTube. It's not great. I'm sure somebody could help me with that if I felt the need. But I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and I think I shared my website and phone number with your staff.
All right, as we wrap up the show, quick reminder to check out his latest podcasts and catch video version of the show anytime by visiting our website at satalkradio.com. That's going to be it for this one. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you at a BNI chapter.
Thank you. See you soon.